Good morning, everyone, respected judges, and my dear colleagues. In keeping with the Go Green initiative of the AIOS, I, Dr. Ramya Nadik, consider it my privilege to present today my paper on global warming impact of fluorinated gases in ophthalmic surgeries at a tertiary eye care center of India. This paper has been co-authored by my mentor, Dr. Rajiv Raman sir, and we have no financial interest. Global warming, as we all know, is the greatest health threat of this century. The healthcare sector carbon footprint accounts for 4.4% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Operating theaters are considered as resource intensive areas and necessary for high quality care. Hence, their environmental effects are not given adequate attention, and it is time for us to embark on the path of greener healthcare practices. This is a retrospective study spanning for 5 years, held at a tertiary eye care facility in South India. Since the procedures were completed prior to the inclusion, it was exempted from ethical approval. The aim of the study was to report the environmental impact of fluorinated gases used for intraocular tamponade procedures. The data was acquired from electronic records, operation theater database, and store inventory. Procedures involving the fluorinated gases were included in the study, and those using air tamponade or silicone oil were excluded. The gas used for tamponade was as per the discretion of the surgeon and the dilution as per the case requirement. The environmental impact calculations were done based on a calculator developed by Musa et al., which converted the volume of the gas to its mass by modified ideal gas law formula at the standard temperature and pressure for the canister. It was then converted to their equivalent amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Due to the variations in the canister pressure and atmospheric pressure, mass was used as a metric to permit comparisons because it is constant regardless of gas pressure and temperature. Coming to the global warming potential, we calculated the global warming potential for these fluorinated gases. Global warming potential is nothing but the amount of heat a gas absorbs in relation to carbon dioxide over time. So different gases have different atmospheric lifetimes, and fluorinated gases have several thousand years of atmospheric lifetimes, which makes their global warming potential significantly high as the time increases. We have used GWP 100 or global warming potential of over 100 years in our study. The results were tabulated, and we found that 1.4 metric tons of carbon equivalent mass was generated out of 1842 procedures that were carried out. Although most of the procedures did use C3F8 and only 24.37 procedures used SF6, it produced more than 50% of our carbon emissions. The most common indication for surgeries using fluorinated gases was macular hole surgeries, and even in these surgeries, most of the procedures did use C3F8. Comparing scenarios, if a single fluorinated gases was used in all of the procedures in the study period, we found that we could increase our carbon emission by almost twice if only SF6 was used, and we could have decreased it considerably if only C3F8 was used in all procedures. This study assessed the carbon equivalent mass for various fluorinated gases and suggested the possibility of global warming in the next 100 years. Similar studies have been done in UK, but this is first of its kind to be conducted in India. The environmental impact of fluorinated gas in ophthalmic surgery has received very little attention because of the limited intraocular volume employed. But the carbon emission is substantially more than anticipated because of the high GWP value. Although SF6 was used in only 24% of the cases, it resulted in more than 50% of our carbon emission. Therefore, we can consider using air tamponade more frequently as an alternative when clinically safe to do so. There have been reports that produce comparable surgical results with air tamponade as well. Additional research can be done for employing C2F6 at lower concentrations as well. Giving perspective to our study, we compared our carbon emissions to day-to-day activities and found that driving a diesel car for 6,000 miles or using an electric heater for 6 hours a day for a year would produce the same amount of carbon emission in the last 5 years that we have produced. To offset this would be a simple afforestation drive using 14 trees per year for 100 years to offset 14,000 kgs of carbon emissions that we have produced. The limitation of the study was we did not measure the carbon footprint related to production, delivery, storage, removal, or disposal of these canisters. However, it is a pioneer study in identifying the problem statement, directs towards designing protocols on usage of air as a preferred agent for short-term tamponade, and also motivates medical facilities to devise strategies to make healthcare practices greener. Thank you.